Hey, good evening time, guys. We are back live. Not for very long, but we are back. Alrighty, so little odds and ends on this, and then the way we can go to the next step here. Stayed up kind of late yesterday. I was going to get some more done, but before I even started the video today, but trying to call doctors and all that other good stuff and what have you. So spent my waking hours after I got off work this morning, um, just doing the life thing, I guess. So anyhow, we're gonna try to go ahead and get the keying circuit put in, and just a few little nitnoids here and there before we take out of here today. But progress is slow, but it is coming along. Of course, we got the 4x16 that's going to be coming up here too. Hello, Bruce. Well, hopefully it will stabilize here in just a minute. Let me know if it's still doing it here in about 2 or 3 minutes. We'll give us some time. Let's see. Need some wire here. Trying to think of what else I need. So I don't burn up my little pad here too quickly. We'll get out the silicon mat that I've been using here for the last few years. Yeah, the pad still works good and everything, but I still prefer a little carpet. Of all the years that I've done this, I still prefer that. So I bought some of these keying circuits here a couple years ago from Pride Electronics, and they're nice. They're a little bit of a nuisance in some cases than doing it the old-fashioned way, but it does make for a nicer look. So yeah, I'm going to use them until I get them all gone anyways. So anyhow, yeah, trying to support some of the other builders. So that's what that's all about. leave that tab on there for the moment because I've got to still solder another wire there for the sideband delay. Good evening, Warren. Good evening, Chad. Yeah, I was getting ready to ask what August 20th was, and then it clicked in my brain, which I will probably not try and do a live feed that day, which I don't know. I know there's different time changes and what have you, but at the same token, I know, for example, my time frame and Three Maids, we're actually on the same time frame. And I know Chad's in between us, so I think he's on the same time. And I sure wouldn't watch me whenever I'd have a chance to win free prizes. I haven't done that in a couple of years, and a lot of that's been health reasons. You know, that kind of takes a hit on the financial side of things. So, you know, haven't been able to afford to giveaways here in a while myself. Seen where Gatekeeper had uploaded a video the other day, and I commented on it, and I think it's got his mind to thinking. But I know somewhere here in the next few days, I've got some parts on order for another little pet peeve project, and I'm gonna, in between working on the big build that's coming up, I'm gonna take a day or two here and there and play around with a circuit. It's something that I've been thinking about for a little while, and I've got another builder that has also been thinking about this, and actually is the one that kind of brought it to my attention as far as some of the pitfalls, especially with people that try to do competitions and what have you. So I am going to try a small little circuit out to see what we can't do. So I'm going to take some time to do that because it should be relatively easy and fun little side project. All right. Now we gotta have a wire to go up here to the front for the sideband delay. No, it's not going to affect me, which I don't do one every day anyways. I try to get out here when I can. There you go, Warren. Good evening, Casey or Chase. Yeah, and that's kind of the whole thing. I ordered the insulators today. They should be here. I think they said Thursday. That's the only other thing that I had forgot to order. But like I said, I found some. I ordered two different versions. One's supposed to be a 30 amp. The other one was supposed to be a 50 amp. So we'll see how that goes. But essentially, that's all. That's what we're doing is a on-state type relay. It's just we're using a little different, a little different setup, and that's for the purpose of space savers. So, all right, so I want a different color wire to go up there. Plus, that other piece, 6 inches, is not going to filter all the way up to the front of the chassis. So, let's pull that off the spool here. There we go. It's a whole lot easier to run this right now than it is anything else. Yeah, I'm not going to run I don't think I'm going to run a standby switch. I think I'm just going to run my little jumper from the relay over to the hot bus, mainly because it's either going to be on or off anyways. So, oops. Alrighty. I can hear out the window somebody's out there doing some target practicing. And when I was a kid, going into my teenage years, where I've lived here, biggest share of my life, this little sleepy town, um, you know, pretty common to see and hear gunshots all day long and here and there from people target practicing or goofing off or what have you. So, it's kind of odd to hear that anymore. But the price of ammo, we can't do quite what we used to do 40 years ago. using a small little conical tip, so it takes a little bit longer to get a good good ground here. Okay. Just finished mowing. Good evening. Yeah, thankfully I haven't had to mow all year. I've got a young boy that's been doing a pretty good job here lately on that. But that also means that I'd have less time in here, so. All right. That should be way too long, but that's all right. That's what I want. That way, once I put the back on, I can cut it to fit. Huh. That's not going to work. Well, it's been a long time since I've done that. Like anybody else, I am human. Needed to go down one more in order to get the relay where I needed it. That's the reason why I always try to give myself just a little extra. There we go. Easy peasy. I'm sitting there looking at the other side and it didn't look right, so it's like, something don't look right. Alrighty. Well, good evening, Mr. Carlock. You got home just in time, you guess, huh? Okay. Let's see. I don't have to take a loan. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I haven't bought ammunition in a year. And before this whole COVID thing, I was actually buying, I'd buy about 1,000 rounds a month. But I was also going to the range on a weekly basis too. before the COVID hit. And now that I'm working at a different company, and unfortunately, the range that I used to go to has shut down, which kind of sucks. I guess the insurance for that wound up being a little bit more than what they were willing to spend the money for. And I thought the owner of the gun shop that had that, I thought he owned the property. I didn't realize that he did not own that. So that was something new that I had found out. So I was kind of surprised at that, because I thought he lived right next door. I mean, it's kind of out in the country area, but it's a huge building, indoor archery range, all that other good stuff. Retired vet that ran it. Yeah, I thought about doing that too. Well, that'd be nice to have a 150-yard range. I know before the eye surgery and everything, and before my eyes went all the bug eyes, I used to be able to do, the 750-meter shot open, on iron sights. Depending on the wind and all that good stuff. But was pretty proficient at 750 meters. That's a hell of a shot, I think. Yeah, but what I'm getting at is the fact that whenever you're able to do that iron sights versus a scope, that is a hell of a feat. When my wife gets down here, I may have to come down and visit you. Maybe we can go to the range and shoot a little, or do something fun. Trying to make sure I've got everything here on the back side before I flip it around. Okay, I think that's everything back here now. Wipe the dust off these relays. Okay, so we got that. Still need to put the little jumper in there for that. Yeah, that's insane. Is it across the border, or is it still in Indiana? Yeah, I do, Gary. And I appreciate that. Yeah, let's go ahead and put that little jumper in there, because otherwise I'll wonder why this thing won't key up. Yeah, the doctors tried to call me 3 different times this morning, and I even sent them a gave them a call and left it on their voicemail that I would not be available after 10:30 because I was going to go to bed. They still kept trying to call. But I've got 2 doctor's appointments that I've got to get scheduled in here in this next week. And then I am going to have to, probably after I get through with one of the 2 doctors, whichever one's first or second, I am probably going to have to go in and have my arm operated on. Both arms are actually causing me problems. The left one, which is my primary arm, that one is the one that's causing me the most anxiety. But, because of my job and just trying to stay up with life in general, it's been very difficult with the tendonitis, and it's getting bad enough that it takes me almost an hour to get my arm movable again after I wake up. I've done all kinds of different things to try to remedy that. Oh, it's definitely faster without the scope for sure. But yeah, I grew up in the same format. Um, you know, the other side of that too is there was times where, my dad did the Davy Crockett thing, and the fact that, when it was hunting season, if you went hunting, you better bring something home, otherwise you aren't going to get dinner tonight. So I got pretty proficient with a rifle. I know when I was out west in Oregon, a couple of the guys from church that were also in law enforcement, they they kind of looked at me kind of strange because they invited me out shooting, which man, I was in love with that, but we went out into the mountains and stuff like that and set up targets and all that good stuff. And the one guy, he had just bought a brand new what was it, 17 cal or something like that. And he did okay. He handed it to me, and I was sitting there plinking the center of the bottle caps and stuff with it. And after the third time me doing that, I said, yeah, so that's a really good straight shoot. He put it back into the case and wouldn't talk about it. And it's like, well, your aim's not that bad. I mean, he was still holding it in a, probably 3-inch group, versus me popping the bottle caps, but I kept finding smaller and smaller things. We'd take, or people had left out there on the range had left, 410 and 20 gauge and 12 gauge shotgun shells. And, I was setting those up on the edges of the rock and, plinking those off with the 22 rifle that I had, no lever action. And, they all took turns with the lever action because apparently none of them had seen a lever action before. And it's like, oh, it's just pretty common where I come from. But, so, I mean, they enjoyed themselves with that, but it was still funny. I still remember that group of guys and everything. So, handguns, I'm not quite that good with. And a lot of it has to do with the twist in the wrist. And I think that has to do with just the damages that I have incurred over the years too. You know, I can protect myself pretty good, but I'm not quite as good as I would like to be with that. All right. So I am at the point where I need to get that face set up. Got to get the breaker cut, hole cut out for that, and the hole for the variable. Because like I said, I do want to put a variable for the one pill. That way I can control what I'm doing with the front end of it. So let's set this off to the side and start working on that. But again, that's just like anybody else. I'm a hobbyist. You know, not a professional. I would like to have been a professional years ago, but that's out of the question. Completely out of the question. Looking for that hole. There it is. Wow, am I that far off of center with my tape? Now I've got a little witness mark or 5mm hole, whatever you want to call it. But the 5mm hole, I had that placed in the face of this where I wanted it. That way I could put either a little miniature toggle switch or I could cut it out for a breaker. You know, that way I could do the modifications based on what I wanted. Scares me to think what these cabinets will cost me to have made all over again. I wasn't sure if that would go far enough that way or not. Yeah, that's something I always wanted to do, is go through sniper school. I'd like to have done that myself. I mean, thankfully, I've got enough friends that have taught me over the years between the military and the police faculty that I've known. I know with everything that's been going on here over the last this last year with China, the Ukraine, and all these other places. You know, no, that's got me kind of nervous on a few different aspects. Yeah, this one's too big. Now, with our current regime, it's just got me kind of nervous as far as whether or not they're going to try something before the election. I mean, God only knows. Let's see how close my line is since I just guessed at it. No, the hole's 197 thousandths, so pretty close to 200. And again, there's still always a margin for error just because you're still laying things out. Like I said, one of these days I'll actually make a little jig for a single and for a double, where I've got my 3 little pilot hole points. Because I don't want it as big as this hole here. I just want a little bitty dimple hole. That way I can drill it out to what I need to meet my knockout for this section here. But eventually I will sit down and make one. It's just a matter of getting around to it like everything else. Yeah, I never did perfect that either. I'll leave that to Clint Eastwood and Doc Holliday and all the other good ones. That's just like the boy. Now he's got an 18, I think it's an 1856 revolver that he bought in, what is it? I think 38 or something like that. And, he can do the whole twirl and all that good spiel. Yeah, 7. But, yeah, I just was never good at that. Never good whatsoever. Try to make it a little easier here because I know it's a little harder to measure some of this stuff out than what people realize too. I mean, I know I've done it for a while, so I mean, I know from my center line here, I know it's 5/8 of an inch. I know this is the boring part. Okay. Well, that shows right. And that shows right. Hey, good evening time, Squirrel. I see you're in there. And even popcorn's popped in there. Good evening time, my friend. And how far in are we? Yeah, you got caught up in the pew pew talk. And I'm sure you've seen the anatomy of a pew. uh, UDX 305. What in the world are you talking about? Oh, what am I building? I am building a 1x4 base, is what I am building. So, yeah, we're drilling the holes for the variable over here, and then the main power switch for over there. Have to sweep up the floor when I get home tonight. Figured Mr. Three Made would have been out here. He's probably relaxing, I'm sure. He's feeling a lot better now that he's had his tooth pulled. Of course, I haven't caught up with him in a couple of days. Well, and I told him I'd do the same. The only problem is he'd have to come to Indiana for it. But yeah, couldn't convince him. Yeah, could not convince him. Oh, that reminds me too. I forgot to get you that information, Chad. If you're still in there, let me. Grab one of these. One of these. But we were talking about screws the other day. So I hold my hand here in front of the camera just right. But it may be difficult to see here on the camera. Okay. The one on the left here, this is ICA. The one on the right is the one that I've been using. And you're probably going to see a difference in the size of the head itself. get you more of a perspective. I know we're kind of going off topic here again, but shop talk, so to speak. We were talking about different screws and, you know, formats and what we're using and all that good stuff. So, let's see, this does thousandths, millimeters, and yep, fractions. So let's do it in fractions. All right. Yep. So 1764s versus 5/16. So the heads on the screws that I use are 5/16. Okay. Or 311 thousandths versus 260 or quarter inch. So basically you're going from a quarter inch head to 5/16. It's still a 632 screw, but a little different. Especially if you use the wire fan guards. They work out exceptionally well with those. Eventually, I got to pull out the right drawer. There they are. Just didn't pull it out far enough. So maybe that'll put it into perspective here for you. This is the one that I use, which covers pretty much the entire tang on the Vanguard versus, the ones that we've been getting where you've got, quite a bit that shows. You've got basically the thickness of the wire on one side or the other that you're trying to combat versus what I've been using. I switched over to those about 4 years ago, I think. Yeah, well, like I said, it's just one of those things that it just clicked because I'm drilling holes for screws. So that's the only reason why I wanted to kind of show you the differences on that. But I'll try to look up that link in the morning and see if I can send it to you, because they've got some other screws that are like what you were talking about. The ones that I'm using, I did go back to the Phillips instead of essentially a type of safety screw, which is what I built with early 2000s, all the way up until I ran out, and then I went ahead and replaced them with what I'm using now, just because I could go back to a regular bit. Obviously, they do have bits now that you can put into your gun for the others, but at the time they didn't have, and eh, it became quite a bit of hassle. So it's 5/8, but what size do I need to drill that? I think it's 1/4 inch. Should be 1/4 inch. Yep. Big one. I'll shake the others off. Don't need much, but I don't need much to clean it up, but I want to be able to get the knockout back apart. So just makes it easier. I appreciate him for that hole just a little bit. Hey, he did show up. I thought maybe you forgot about us. I know you don't look at your phone all that often either. So. Well, that's not good. Not good at all. Means I'm going to have to drive that out. Thankfully, I've got some replacements, but that thing's only cut probably 1,000 holes too. All right. And I almost got it all the way cut through. Well, shoot. All righty. Well, guys, it's just about that time, anyways. And I will get a new bolt. We'll get that finished out as far as on the knockout, because, like I said, we're almost all the way through it. But we'll get that finished as far as on the cutout, and then go from there. But meantime, I am going to go to work. So, guys, I appreciate you popping in for the visit. I apologize for the hole, but things happen. You know, when you're snapping through, 1/4 inch aluminum like this, especially when it's extruded, it does get a little hard on the tooling. But we'll get that, like I said, we'll get that all taken care of and knocked out there in the morning, and go from there. So, guys, I appreciate it. Take care. Have a great evening. We will catch you on the next live feed.